everybody, and welcome. I am Ruben Dyer Chavez Jr., aka Ray Chavo, and I'm breaking down the Euros group. So let's keep it going. We're going into Group E. This group, I feel like there's obvious people that are going to progress and obvious people that are not, but let's get into it. I want to start with Romania, who I think is a team that most people are not expecting to go far. It's hard to disagree. Radu Dragusin, I think, is a great center back. They have other names that people may know from other teams, not always as starters or high level teams. But I think that the way you talk yourself into this team is their manager Edward Iordanescu is good. He's got them well organized, well drilled. This is a team that's going to have to really play pretty flawlessly to get anything, to get any joy, and to make the most of his chances. They're going to soak up a lot of pressure and be play off the back foot a lot. It's not saying it's impossible. There's always surprise packages at tournaments. I just don't think they have enough talent, especially in the group. When you look at their opponent from the first game, Ukraine, and then Belgium, obviously, who are also in this group. I forget if I went through who's in this group, but yeah, it's Romania, Ukraine, Belgium, and Slovakia. So for Romania, unfortunately, I don't foresee a lot. I don't foresee a long tournament. But again, sometimes every different nation has to have its own approach to a tournament. It's not always win or bust, and that's not how you measure success. Like uh, if they come and they have a good account, they can play spoiler, even if it doesn't result in a seed in the next round for them. But if they can spoil the party for a Belgium or for a Ukraine, get a get a win against Slovakia, those things matter, and it helps to build up a Romania that is trying to move forward into the future, right? So um, I'm excited to see what they do, how they perform, especially against teams like, as much as I'm saying, it's a foregone conclusion. I don't have a lot of faith in some of the other squads in this group either. So there's always room for a surprise. I just don't think it's going to come by way of Romania. Let's get into Ukraine. I think Zinchenko's a great player. Mudrik is another great player. I think Mudrik's been done pretty badly at Chelsea. There's a lot of chaos there, and he hasn't always had the chance to showcase what his abilities are. He'll have a little bit more freedom in Ukraine with a setup that knows how to get the most out of him and is less chaotic. You know, um, Lunin is going to be huge. And before we get into him, like Artem Dovvik could be great as well. But I think Lunin is going to be the key. Again, we talk about how international football can sometimes be very cagey. It can be just making the most of the opportunities. It can be really just the fine margins here or there. Um, Lunin could be the difference between getting a win and not getting a win. And we saw it this season at Real Madrid. And for him, especially after the season he had, like, he's probably already done enough to get himself a move if he wants. If he really pushed Madrid and he talked to a club and they wanted to be in on him, they could offer him a big enough contract that I think he could get his way out of Madrid if he really wanted to. Does he want to? Does he not want to? Only he knows. But you add the performance at a club level to a great performance at the Euros, and you already go, you become an even more into man keeper. So it'll be important for him to make a good account of himself, and I do believe that he can do that. So, um, and again, I disrespected Romania a bit earlier. They did go unbeaten in a pretty tough group in qualifying, but I do think Ukraine's a better team. They'll show that quality, especially in that first game, and that'll get them off in the right step. We move on to Slovakia, another team that is not expected to do a whole lot. Um, I like the striker from Bovista, Robert Bosniak. I like Skriniar. I think his veteran steel will add stuff to the spine of the team. Again, I think it just comes down to talent. I don't see their squad as talented as the Ukrainian squad or the Belgium squad, and those will be the differences in those games. Could they upset? Of course. It's not. You play football for a reason. It's not all just played in hypotheticals and on computer screens, et cetera, et cetera. But I do think that the gap the gap is just too high. Slovakia is going to have a tough time getting out of this group, and we'll talk about the last team. I'm pretty low on Belgium, just based on the fact that the golden generation is slowly eking out. Um, De Bruyne spent a lot of the season dealing with a hamstring injury. How fit is he? Doku's great. He's great, pacey, exciting winger, but is he is he a kind of match winner in the way that they may need? Like the way that Hazard was. You know, I, Trossard is a great player. Lu, Lu, Lukaku on his day can be a great player, but we've seen Lukaku when he's not firing. Roma really got a lot out of him. Mourinho can sometimes play players into the ground, and obviously Lukaku was like first played a lot under Mourinho, and Mourinho did leave early on in this year, so he got a little more rest after Mourinho left. But the golden generation is done. We're going to see what this new Belgium can be moving forward with players like Doku and Mangala and stuff. But it it's going to be interesting to see how they transition from that generation that was so great to this generation that is going to be following them. Witzel is still going to be probably in the defense, experienced. He's been good. Vertonghen is injured. Meunier is a doubt. There's a lot of question marks and injuries and just stuff. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see. I guess is where I come down on it. I'm pretty low on the Belgians. I don't think they're going to make it that far in the tournament, but they are still full of talent. They are still a team that has a bit of that golden generation magic around it with players like De Bruyne and Lukaku. So I do think they're going to win. I think they're going to win the group, but it's not going to be easy going past that. So to break it all down, I have Belgium number one, Ukraine number two, Romania number three, and then probably Slovakia rounding out the four. I don't think any of these teams will make it into the next round besides Belgium and Ukraine. I could see a situation where it's just Ukraine and Belgium win all their other games, and if they draw, whoever wins second, the first, second, and then Slovakia and Romania maybe get a win against each other, one over the other. But yeah. I mean, I think this group is one of the more straightforward ones, just based off talent and just based off I didn't mention it when I talked about the Ukraine thing, but there is that they have they have a motivation to play hard, to make a good account of themselves based on everything that's happening in Ukraine with the war and all that stuff. So whenever you have a storyline like that, whenever you have reasons to play harder, and I'm sure those players will be feeling that pressure, but in a good way, to want to do well for their compatriots. So I like Belgium and Ukraine to come out tops of this group. But yeah, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Tell me that I'm wrong. Tell me what I got wrong. And as always, like you guys may know more than I do about certain teams, so it's interesting. But we're gonna see how the Euros progresses and just how everything moves along.